dick, I know she like it 'cause
Auntie, please don't do this to me. Please. You said while holding her hands with your wet eyes, which were filled with your tears. But she jerked you harshly and you fell on the floor. Honey, I never thought you were worth it for me. Do you know, honey, for how much money did I sell you, huh? You looked at her with a hope, but she chuckled and said, I sell you in $1 million van. How could you do this to me, Auntie? I, I always see you like my mother, but I never thought you would be this cheap and greedy for money. Oh, now you're talking back to me, huh? I think you forget your place, huh? She said and was about to slap you, but someone stopped her and said, God, ma'am, our boss strictly forbids us from harming her. Whatever, take her from here, she said while looking at those bodyguards, and they all didn't even waste a second to hold you and started dragging you outside. No, please leave me, you said while struggling and crying. Time escaped after an hour. Please leave me. You whimper as the men were holding you really very tight. You looked around and saw the place, and it seemed horrible. You looked at the one man who was tying you with the rope. Why are you tying me? Please stop. Please open this, you shouted as they were tying your hands and also covered your eyes with a black strip. Man, boss, we did as you said, he said as he was talking on his phone. Man, guys, the boss ordered us to leave her alone. They all nodded and went from there, leaving you alone in such a horrible place. Hey, please, don't leave me. I'm scared of dark. You were trying to look around, but all seems black to you. But suddenly you hear some footsteps which are coming from the stairs, like someone is coming downstairs. You turn your head in that direction from where you hear those footsteps. You can guess that the unknown person is a man. Anybody's there? Please help me, you said while crying, but you got no response. But suddenly you feel that someone is smoking and drinking. You can sense it because of its smell, which you probably don't like. You started coughing because of the smoke. You were breathing heavily because it's difficult to take your breath, and you hear a chuckle from that unknown person, like he was enjoying the scene. And will you stop smoking? Can't you see I want able to breathe properly? You said while turning your head to that unknown man. The person didn't say anything, but it seems like he extinguished the cigarette as now the smoke was decreasing. Still so tempting, sweetheart. You hear the unknown person and your mind stops for a minute. You were in your thoughts as you don't know why, but you know this person. You know this voice. But you flinched as you felt a cold hand caressing your thighs as you were wearing a short skirt. You feel chills inside your body. Hey, please don't touch me, you said while crying. You hear him laughing, which made you confused. Sweetheart, it's not like I'm touching you for the first time, huh? He said while whispering near your ear in a seductive voice. Who are you? Please open this, you said, being helpless. Sure, honey, at least I can accept your one last wish, he said and freed your hands. And with that, you removed the strip from your eyes as you wanted to see the person. But as you looked at the person who was sitting right in front of you, made your heart beat fast. Jimin, his name is taken out of your mouth like a whisper. Jimin, glad to know, sweetheart, you still remember me, huh? He said while smiling before walking near you, but you moved backwards. You were crawling on the floor, but your back hit the wall as something was there, and there's no space. Words were not coming out from your mouth, and you feel sweaty also. He bent down to your level and moved his hand towards your face and wiped the sweat from your forehead and said in his deep voice, Jimin, are you scared, sweetheart? You slowly shook your head as no, as you still didn't feel any fear around him. But suddenly he said, Jimin, open this pretty mouth of yours. I want to hear your sweet honey voice. When, what are you doing here, Jimin? He chuckled at your innocent mind, as you still didn't even understand what's going on here. Same as your back days, very innocent. When, Jimin, please help me. Crying, Jimin, shh. Let me clear everything to you, sweetheart. You looked at him being confused. You frown your brows as he shows you some papers. You looked at them and it seems like an agreement or something. When, what is this? You asked. Jimin, read this, sweetheart. He said and again sat on the couch like a king. You read the papers and it breaks your heart. You never thought you have to face something like this in your life. When, no, it can't be happen. You said as you won't believe. Jimin, yes, this is true, sweetheart, he said with a smirk on his face. Your auntie sold you to me. From now on, you are my personal slave. I can do anything with you, whatever and whenever I want, he said with a smirk on his face while touching you. When, no, please don't, you said while struggling yet crying. He looked at your crying face and wiped your tears with his thumb and said, Jimin, don't need to cry, sweetheart. I'm not heartless like you. I'm worse than that, he said while shouting, and you flinched badly. Jimin, let your tears come out. It feels peaceful. Remember the day you left me? I was crying like that, he said with a sad chuckle. Jimin, I was not like that, but you made me this. Your love made me this, he said while looking at your eyes, but you don't have the guts to look into his eyes. Author's POV. You and Jimin were living peacefully with each other. You both are in a secret relationship which is hidden from your auntie. He loved you so much like no one ever did in your life. He was the one and only person in your life with whom you wanted to spend your whole life. But when your auntie got to know about this, she forced you to break up with him, 'cause she never wanted to see you happy. She always tortured you. First you didn't want to break up with him, but at that time your uncle, who loves you and cares for you, was admitted in the hospital and your auntie denied for the treatment of your uncle. She threatened you and you had to break up with him. You lied to him that you fell out of his love and now you don't love him anymore. He wasn't able to believe you and now you don't want him anymore. You still remember your last day with him, how he broke completely and you couldn't do anything because you also didn't want to lose your uncle's life. Chaman, what do you think? I will forgive you in this 1 year, huh? No, sweetheart. In fact, now you increase my desires over you, he said while holding her chin with his hands tightly. Wine, please, leave me. It's hurting, you said while crying. Chaman, that's what I want. It's just the beginning. I want to show you the real hell, he said and directly looked into your eyes, and you saw his devil side for the first time. Sweetheart, it's time to come back from where you left me. Jimin, it's master for you, sweetheart. You already lost the right to call me by my name. Now you have to follow my rules. And yeah, if you don't follow, then you're ready to see the worst punishment. When you are not that Jimin whom I loved, you said and broke into tears completely. You killed him with your own hands the day you left me, he said while looking at your eyes, and his eyes were red in anger. You didn't say anything and suddenly lost your sense and fell as you got unconscious due to the crying and unexpected accident of your life. You looked at he looked at you and noticed how weak you are. He took you in his arms and took you in a room before placing you on the bed. He was about to go but stopped when you unconditionally held his hand in your sleep. He looked at you before sitting beside you. Why did you leave me? You ruined everything. How I was dreaming my life with you. But you? He said, and a tear left from his eyes. Then suddenly he went from there without looking back at you. 'Cause again he doesn't want to be weak. Time skipped after 4 hours at night. You woke up and looked around, and suddenly you remembered your worst. You got up and walked out from the room, but it seems like no one is there. Jimin, what are you doing here? You flinched by a sudden voice. Nothing, you said while looking down. He came near you, which made you scared. Made me something to eat. You nodded. Use your fucking mouth to answer, he shouted. Wine, yes, you speak, but stop as he held your hair. Jimin, didn't I tell you call me master? He said in anger. Wine, I'm sorry, master. You said while crying silently. Jimin, remember your place. You are just my personal slave. Jimin, now get lost, he shouted, and you immediately went to find the kitchen, but suddenly he said, Jimin, wait. If you make any single mistake, then be ready for punishment, he said while looking at you from head to toe, with a smirk on his face, and his intimate gaze is enough for you to understand what he means. You nodded before walking away. Time skipped after an hour. Jimin, how much do I have to wait, huh? He shouted while sitting in the dining area. And after a minute, you came out from the kitchen with the food and placed it on the table before looking at him, being scared. You served him the food, and after looking at the dish you made for him, he got impressed cause this is his favorite dish. He got amused that you still remember his favorite one. He tastes the food and he can't lie. It's the same as before you made for him in the past. You looked at him with a hope and like he would praise you or something, but instead he threw the plate on the floor. You knew he did it purposely, and unknowingly silent tears come out from your eyes, cause you do your best to make his favorite dish so that he can feel you still love him. You looked at him with your teary eyes, and he got you from his chair and took a step closer to you, and you moved backwards. Jimin, what the hell you make, huh? He shouted, he said while holding you by your arm and pulled you closer to him. Wine, I'm sorry, please leave me, crying. He was about to say something, but suddenly he got a phone call and he had to go somewhere urgently. Jimin, bad luck, he said while looking at his phone, and then you, and again said, Jimin, but I will see you later, sweetheart, he said while smirking. He went from there and you sighed in relief, but scared from inside cause you don't know what he will do after coming back. You looked around and started to clean the floor. After some time, you went to the room from where you stayed earlier and sleep cause you were really tired. Next morning, you were sleeping peacefully. Then suddenly someone splashed the cold water on your face and you quickly woke up. You looked around to find Jimin, who was standing right in front of you while staring at you with this dangerous gaze. Wake up, sweetheart. It's not good to sleep over your master, he said while smirking, and you turned your face to the other side. But before he held you by your chin harshly and made you look at him. Jimin, look at me whenever I talk to you. Got it? Wine, yeah, yes, master. He smirks in satisfaction. Jimin, good. Now made breakfast for me, he said, but you still didn't move cause you were shivering in the cold due to wet clothes. He looked at you and saw your whole dress was soaked in water, which was also revealing your innards. He stared at you for a minute and internally cursed himself cause he wasn't able to control. He came into his sense. He walked towards his wardrobe to take something for you to wear, and after a minute he came back with a shirt in his hands. Jimin, here, wear this, he said while giving you the shirt, and you took it silently, cause you also don't wanna be sick. Author's POV. It's been a month since you are living with him as his personal slave, and he really gave you hard time to rest, as he always makes you do all his house chores, and sometimes he really scolded you, but you can't do anything to listen. He never hurt you physically, but yeah, sometimes he remembered his past memories with you and he lost his control. He just always mentioned you as his personal slave, like there is nothing else you are in his life now. But it's all your fate which took you here, and now you have no one. You were sitting on the couch while waiting for him, as he told you you can't sleep before he came home. You also prepare the food for him, but it's almost 1 a.m. late night, but still he didn't come yet. You were worried about him cause every time he came on time. You looked at the clock and again looked at the main entrance. Then suddenly you hear the door opening sound and reveal a guard who was holding Jimin. You went near them and saw he was injured badly, yet drunk. Blood also drips from his chest and his shirt is completely soaked in blood. Jimin, leave me, I can handle myself, he said while yelling at the guard who was trying to help him. but he left him as he ordered him. But as the guard left him, he stumbled because of the injury and his drunken state. But before he would fall, you hold him. He looked at you with his red burning eyes. Jimin, leave me, you. I don't need anyone's help, he said while pushing you aside and trying to handle himself. Jimin, and yeah, you get out and do your work, he said while looking at the guard, and he immediately left from there before bowing to him. He started to go upstairs, but it's hard for him, and you didn't waste a second to help him. You don't care if he wants your help or not, but you can't say him like this. You held him and help him to take in his room. He again refused to take your help, but you are too stubborn. You made him sit on his bed when went to find the first aid kit. You sat near him and looked at the wound, and unknowingly a tear left from your eyes, which also can't hide from him. He looked at your face, and it only shows the concern for him. He noticed how worried you are for him. He started undoing his shirt, but he can't do it himself, so you thought to help him. Juan, can I help you? You asked him well scared, and he glared at you. Jimin, did I ask you for help? He said, being angry. I'm sorry, you said, and diverted your gaze to the other side as he was opening his shirt, but suddenly he whimpered. What happened? It hurts? You asked him as you were really worried for him. He looked at you for a while and said, why are you worried? You didn't say anything cause you knew he won't believe in you. Now help me, sweetheart, cause you are my personal slave, he said while reminding you of your place in his life. You nodded and helped him to remove his shirt and make sure you didn't hurt him. You took the cotton from the first aid kit and wiped the blood carefully. Your cheeks turned red as you looked at his half. He has really nice body, you thought, and started to do your work, but you were really feeling very nervous, and it's not like for the first time. You always get nervous when he close to you. You carefully treat his wound and also put the bandage. The whole time he was just staring at you with his intimate gaze. At that time you were really feeling very warm cause you unconditionally touch his bare skin, and it's remind you your old memories when you both used to love each other. You put the first aid box aside and about to walk out, but he stopped you. Jimin, come here. You stand near him while looking down. Jimin, why are you acting like you still love me, huh? Why are you pretending like you are worried for me? He said those bitter words to you and you can't hold your tears. Cause you really cared for him, but he thought you were just pretending like that. Jimin, girls just like you can never love anyone, he said, more like insulting you and doubting on your love. One, enough, Jimin. You really don't know anything, then you can't judge my love and me, you said while wiping your tears. Jimin, love. He chuckled sadly and you looked at him being confused. Jimin, if you really do, then you would never leave me. Didn't you say you fell out of my love, huh? Then what's there is left? One, and if you truly love me for a moment, then you can see in my eyes how I still love you, you said, and didn't even realize what you have done. He pulled you by holding your arms and you fell on his chest. You looked at him with wide eyes as you were about to get up, but before he pulled you closer even more while holding your waist with his other hand. You looked at him with a confused look, 'cause you don't understand anything. Jimin, what did you say? Van, leave me. You are already injured. Jimin, this wound is not as deep as the one you gave me. Van, no matter what I did to you, but you can't lie that you still love me. You said while looking at him with a hope. Jimin, yes, I love you, 'cause I really do with the core of my heart. He said, and his eyes filled with the tears, as his eyes showed the same emotion the day you left him, and you can see love in his eyes for you. One, and believe me, if that day my situation didn't make me to take this decision, then I will never leave you. You said. Chaman, I don't believe you. You chuckled. Van, I know, but please trust me. I really do the way you do. Chaman, then prove it. He said, and you looked at him being confused. You didn't know what to do or how you prove your love towards him. You looked at him. The end.